Hey guys, this is Christina from Craft Muse, and today our tutorial is for a little Loomigurumi inspired by Tsum Tsum, little Marie. She's a little kitty from Aristocats, and I think that her character is super adorable, so I just had to make her. Hopefully today her little eyelashes and little whiskers will work for me today, because as you can see here, they're kind of, they're not perfect, but that's what happens when you work with bands. But I still think she's cute. And so let's start with our tutorial. So what we're going to need today for this are, we're going to need 420 white bands if you're making her in white. And then you'll need about 40 pink. These aren't exact band counts. I usually try to overcount for the bands just to make sure that we have enough. And then you'll need about 8 black. You'll also need 2 pony beads for the eyes. If you don't have the pony beads, you can use wrap bands as well. I used a darker blue pony bead for her eyes here because she does have blue eyes. But today I'm going to be using a lighter blue just to see what it looks like. And you'll also need some polyfill to stuff her with. If you don't have polyfill, just anything soft, or just get creative if you don't have any polyfill on hand. And then if you want to add the cheek color, that's optional. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it this time with this one. We'll see at the end if I want to. And then a crochet hook or a rainbow loom hook. And if you want to get an extra one, if you have another one laying around, you might want that just to hold the arms and feet. And then you need either a stitch marker or a C-clip. And I'm just using my C-clip like I always use. So that's what you need to complete this project today. So it's pretty simple as far as it's just the basic Tsum Tsum design that we've been doing. There's no like huge color changes, just in the collar. Excuse me. And that's really simple. So the hardest part is, of course, the facial features. So that will probably be what's going to take us the longest, but it should be okay. So the first thing that we're going to start out making are our legs and our arms. And these are both going to be in white. Sorry, I didn't get my bins ready, so you have to hear that crinkling. Okay, so we'll start with our legs and our arms. And we need to make 4 of them. And again, they're all in white. And if you're familiar with the Tsum Tsums, you'll know that these are just basically magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So let's get started on that. So I'll take my first band and I'll wrap it around my hook twice. I'll grab one band, pull my capping band into the center, and reclaim the other end onto my hook. And then I'm going to bring this band underneath this one. Sorry. I'm going to go back in through my capping band, pull up another band, and I'm just going to pull it through these 3 from the capping band only. So I'm just going to pull it through the capping band, bring it up, and then reclaim the other end of the band onto my hook, and then bring this band underneath these 2. I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to repeat this 4 more times. So through the capping band only, and through these 2. So that was 3. This is 4. And if you guys have a hard time with doing the magic ring on the hook, then feel free to use your loom to make your magic ring. Okay, so we should have a total of 6 stitches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I hope you guys can see this white okay. I didn't have my colored background. I need to get another one, so I'm going to have to use white, and I hope it turns out okay. So anyways, this is one leg or arm, and we need to make 3 more of these. So if you want to pause the video and do that, go ahead and do that. 2 of these, if you want to go through the first loop, the first stitch over, and then we're going to pull up, 2 of our arms are going to be on a pink band. I'm not using pink today, I'm using this peach color, this limited edition peach, because I want to see how it would turn out, and plus I never really get a chance to use like specialty bands because I don't make bracelets. So 2 of your white arms are going to need to be on pink bands, and then you can put that on your holding hook, and then 2 of them are just going to be on white bands. So go ahead and pause the video and make your arms and legs. Okay, so you should now have your 4 limbs, and I'm sorry if I didn't mention this before, but if you have your arms and legs on a holding hook, have the ones that are on the white bands towards the back, and then the ones that are on the white pink bands in the front, because we're going to be using these ones on the pink bands first. So if you could just switch those around, if they're out of order, then that would be great. That way you won't have to take all of them off and switch them around when it comes to the point where we need the arms. So now we can work on the ears, and I've already made one of them. So this is the outer portion of the ear, and then we need to do an inner portion of the ear. So I'll make the other one with you. We'll keep these portions separate from each other until we get to the part where we are attaching them to the head. So we'll start with the outer ear, and with this, the outer ear is going to be white. So for row 1, we need to do a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'm going to wrap it around my hook twice. Pull that capping band onto my band. And then I'm going to pull this first band through this one. Go back in through my capping band. I keep like losing my voice, I'm sorry. I'm going to reclaim onto my hook. I'm going to pull this band through these 2 here. Go back through my capping band. So this is number 3. This will be number 4. This will be number 5. This will be number 6. Okay, so you should have 6 stitches in your magic ring. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're using a C-clip or stitch marker, go ahead and place it on the band that is on your hook. And so now what we want to do is, for row 2, we want to do a single crochet followed by an increase, and we want to repeat this pattern all the way around so that we end up with 9 stitches. So my first stitch is going to be a single crochet, so I'll go in through my first stitch, which are these little V-shaped things on the outside of my circle. So this first one here is stitch number 1, and we're going to be doing a single crochet. So we'll take our first band, we'll pull it through the stitch only, reclaim the other end onto the hook, and then just like with the magic ring, we're going to be sliding this band here through these 2 here. So that was 1 single crochet. Our next stitch over is going to be an increase. So what that is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So I'll go into stitch number 2. I'll take my band, pull it through my stitch only, and reclaim. And then I'll pull these 2, this one under these 2. Now go back into that stitch number 2, and I'll do my second single crochet. Okay, so for stitch number 3, it's just a single crochet. Stitch number 4 is an increase. So there's one. And there's two. Stitch number 5 is a single crochet. And then here in my last stitch where my C-clip was, I'm going to be doing an increase. So there's one. There's two. So now what we should have are 9 stitches all the way around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's all we need to do for the ear. So I'm going to go into my next stitch over, take a white band, I'm going to pull it through all of the loops on my hook, reclaim the other end, and then do a slip knot to tie this off. Go ahead and stretch that out a little bit, point it in towards the top. You can of course fix that later as well too, but so that's the outer ear. So for the inner ear is where you're going to need some pink, or peach in my case. You want to take one band, wrap it around your hook once, grab all of those loops, wrap it around your hook again, and then I'm going to take another band and do the same thing. So I'll wrap it around my hook once, I'll grab all of these bands here, wrap them around again. So now I have like 2 cap bands on my hook. Now I'll take a white band, and I'm just going to pull these 2 cap bands onto this band here. Just slide them towards the center, and then I'll push this down and reclaim the other end, just like that. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is hold on, take this, just one end off of your hook, and just hold it with your finger. Just stick your finger through that loop so that it's like this, because we're going to need to take another pink band and do a cap band. So wrap it around my hook once, grab all of them, wrap it around again, and then I'll put this white band back that was on my finger. And that's probably gonna like mess up your bands a little bit, and so just straighten it out as much as possible. And then you'll take another white band and slide all of these bands onto this band. So I'm just going to go in order. So the first one I'll take over is that white band, and then it will be my pink capping band, and then this white band here. Slide that towards your center, and you can just take that off. That's one thing I don't like about these limited edition bands is they're not very neat. Like, it doesn't look as good as it would with opaque bands, but whatever. Alright, so this is your inner ear and this is your outer ear. So when we get closer towards the point where we attach them, we'll attach this to the inner ear. So go ahead and pause the video and make your second one, and we will get started on the body when you come back. For the body, we're going to be starting in white, and our first row is going to be the magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So we will wrap this band around our hook twice. Have you guys noticed, like, I don't, if any of you purchase Michaels bands, it's like they changed the white bands. They're shiny now, and they're more of the, they feel more like those neon bands that Michael was selling, like those ones that you can only get at Michael's, but they're not very stretchy, and it's kind of hard to do Loomigurumi with these. Like, is it, does, like, if you order off the website, is it the same? I don't know. Okay, so I'm making my magic ring, and I hope you guys know how to do this by now. You should have had practice with either making Loomigurumi projects or just by doing the arms and the legs. So I want to put in 6 bands so that I end up with 6 stitches. So this is 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we should have 6 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's put our stitch marker in. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. And for row 2, we're going to be doing an increase all the way around these 6 stitches so that we end up with 12. So again, the increase is in each stitch you're going to be doing 2 single crochets. So all the way around, just do that all the way around and you should end up with 12. So that was 1 single crochet. Here's my second one. Now I'm going to stitch 2. So there's 1. There's 2. Stitch 3. If you guys can hear my husband in the background talking, I apologize. He's playing a video game and he's on his headset, and I told him to quiet down a little bit, but I guess he's like caught up in the moment or something. It's nighttime, so my kids are asleep. Okay, and then my last stitch is an increase. Okay, so if you want to count your stitches, you should have 12. Put your C-clip back up there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so for row 3, we're going to be doing a single crochet followed by an increase. We're going to repeat this pattern all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches, and we're going to be adding our eyes in this round. So if you want to get those ready, I just going to put the beads on my band. Okay, so our eyes are going to be going into stitch 3 and 8, but just follow along with me and I'll let you know when we're going to do that. So our first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Our second stitch is an increase. Now we are going to be adding our eye, so we'll go into our third stitch. Grab your eye. If you're using pony beads, if you're using safety eyes, you would just place them on afterwards. So you would just skip this adding the eye and just use your band instead. So I'm going to pull one end through my stitch only and then reclaim onto my hook and do my crochet. Our fourth stitch is going to be an increase. Fifth stitch will be a single. Sixth will be an increase. Seventh will be a single. Oh, what am I doing? It's not the 8th stitch, it's the 9th stitch. I'm sorry guys, yeah, the 9th stitch. We're not adding in the 8th, it's the 9th. Okay, so our 8th stitch is an increase. Okay, our 9th stitch is where we add our second eye. Sorry about that. 10th stitch is an increase. 11th stitch is a single. And our last stitch here will be an increase. Okay, and we should have a total of 18 stitches now. So I have 1, 2, 3, and then you'll have a little teeny tiny stitch there right next to your eye. That still counts as a stitch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Tiny one is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So go ahead and stick your C-clip back in up here. And when you're doing your next round, don't forget to crochet into those tiny stitches. Because if you don't, then you'll end up short on your next, after you do your next row. So for row 4, we want to do a single crochet, followed by an increase all the way around so that we end up with 24 stitches. So I'll start off with my single crochet. Second stitch will be a single. My third stitch is going to be an increase. My fourth one, which is this little teeny tiny one, will be a single. My fifth stitch will be a single. Sixth stitch will be an increase. Seventh stitch will be a single. Eighth will be a single. Ninth will be an increase. Tenth stitch will be a single. 11 is a single. 12 is an increase. 13th one, which is a teeny tiny one, is a single. 14 is a single. 15 is an increase. 16 is a single. 17 a single, and then our last stitch will be an increase. Now if I'm going too fast for you or too slow, please feel free to pause the video and use these cards as a reference. This is where I write down the cards, just so you guys don't get lost at where I am, because not everybody goes at the same pace, so they're there to help you and me. Okay, so now we should have 24 stitches around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, so we're on our next card. Okay, so this is, we're now on row 5. So from rows 5 to 9, we're just going to do crochets, single crochets all the way around in the 24 stitches. So we need to do a total of 5 rows of that. So I will do the first row with you, and then you guys can pause the video and do the remaining 4. And just make sure you're remembering to mark off where you, after you finished a round, make sure you mark it off so you don't lose track of how many rounds you have done. So let's just start. Again, these are just single crochets all the way around. So we're keeping our 24 stitches here. No fancy footwork here. Kind of putting this tutorial off because when I made her, the face was just like difficult, not difficult, but the little features like the extra hairs and the whiskers, they just weren't like sitting the way I wanted them to. So I'm hoping this time it goes better for me and that it goes okay for you guys. It's just a lot of fussing around with for this one. Okay, so I'm in my last stitch for this round. Okay, and then I'm just going to mark this off. So I have done 1 row around and I need to do 4 more, and so do you guys. So go ahead and pause the video and complete the rest of your rounds. Make sure you're marking them off, and then we're going to stop and temporarily fasten off, but I'll show you guys how to do that if you don't know how to do that already, and we're going to start adding the face. Okay, so I have completed my additional 4 rows around. So this is what you should have right here. So I ended here. So this was my last stitch here, and I'm going to fasten this off for now. So I'll go into my next stitch over, take a band and just pull it through all these loops on my hook, and then just tie a slip knot. It doesn't matter what color you use, it's just temporary anyways. So we can start the fun part now, which is adding all of our facial features. So we need to add the nose, the eyelashes, the whiskers, the ears, and her hair with a little bow. So before you start that, make sure your tying off band is facing towards your right. If you don't, and if you accidentally end up doing it this way, when we go to do our arms and legs, they're going to end up in the wrong spot. So this is important to make sure that this is towards your right. So we'll start with our nose, which is probably the easiest part. So I'm using a light pink band. For my other one, I just used the same pink as like for her ears and her collar here, but since I'm using the limited edition bands for that part, I'm going to use the light pink for the nose because it won't be as easy to use for the nose with those limited bands. So we want to slip knot these together. So you just take a band, put it on your hook, take another band, slide this band onto that one, reclaim the other end onto your hook, and then just tie a slip knot. So I'm going to do that 2 more times so that I have a total of 4 bands slip knotted together. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. Or you can do it with your fingers too. Whichever way is easiest for you guys. So that's what I have. And let's see, where am I going to place this? I am going to place this right underneath my magic ring. So if you look at your face, right in between your eyes is this perfect little circle here. That's our starting point. Sorry. This is where we started the design. So right beneath that, there should be 2 stitches. So there is, let's see, here's my magic ring. So there's 1 stitch there and 1 stitch there. These are the 2 stitches I'm going to work these bands through. So I'm going to go up through one of those stitches and bring one end of my slip knotted band down through there into the face. Just like that. And then I'll go on the other side right next to it and pull down this end. I'm just going to even these out. Okay. Now I'm going to go in from the top, I'm going to go into this stitch here. I'm going to go on the inside of my face. Sorry, these bands are in the way. And I'm going to grab the band that is right across from my hook. I'm not going to grab the band that is in the same hole that my hook is through. I'm going to grab the other one, the opposite one, and pull it up. Now I'm going to go into that other hole, so I'm going in through the face, and I'm going to pull this band down. And when you're doing this, make sure you're not pulling the band too tight, because then your nose will be super duper tiny and it will squeeze these stitches together, and you don't want that. So I've done that. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing again, but I'm going to go into this other stitch instead and do the same thing and grab the band across from my hook and bring it up. And then I'm going to go in through my face on the other side and pull that down. Okay, so there's my little nose. And now I'm just going to tie these into a knot. A loose one. Don't tie too tight again, because you will squeeze the nose together and it will become tiny. Okay. And if you did accidentally tie a little bit too tight, just take your hook and loosen those bands up a little bit. Alright, so now let us add the, let's do the eyelashes. Okay. Now for this one I used black for the eyelashes and the whiskers, but for this one I'm just going to use a brown, and this is a brown I got from the Skin Tone pack. I'm just keeping with the lighter colors for this one that I'm doing, so you can make them any color you want. You could use purple if you want. It's totally up to you. Alright, so on both sides of my beads for the eyes, I'm just going to go in through a stitch right next to my eye. Wait, what am I doing? No, I'm going to do it from the inside, just because. Okay, so here's my inside, and I'm going to go and tie these lashes onto you should see this like band that's across the eye like these. I'm going to tie it onto there. So I'll just put my hook there, grab a band for my lash, pull it through that, and then do a slip knot. And try not to do it too tight, like don't stretch these too tight because you don't want it to mess up your eyes. And then I'll do the other side as well. Sometimes it's kind of hard to go through this band because it's like right up against my eye. Okay, so once you've got those on, go ahead and flip your eyes back out. And then just go in the same stitch that your eye is in and pull these bands out to the front. See what I mean? This one wants to go this way, and this one's perfect, and it just drives me crazy. Okay, so once you've done that, go ahead and just snip these bands here, and then cut them to your desired length. Like, this one's perfect, and this one's just like, wants to ruin my day. Oh well. Still looks cute. Okay. So there's our eyelashes. Now let's add her little tufts of hair on the side of her cheeks. So that will be in white, or whatever color you're doing for the body. Okay, so you want to put them a little bit out, more towards the back of the face, I guess. Well, let's see. Here's the eye. You want to go about, let's see, 1, 2, maybe 2 stitches, and then go down. And then place your tufts of hair in this area here, where my thumbs are. So to do that, I'm going to do mine a little bit differently than how I did this other last one that I made. I'm going to go in through a stitch of where I want my hair to be. I'm going to take 2 body color bands, bring them through that stitch so that I have the bands on my hook. I'm going to take another band and I'm going to tie a slip knot here. And then from there, you can just you can add slip knotted bands to this chain here. So we're not actually having to add bands in the stitches because I noticed sometimes it messes up the stitches a little bit. So to do it this way, it will look a lot, well, it will be cleaner looking, I think. So just keep adding as many slip knotted bands as you want. You kind of want to cover that chain up so you don't see it. So just keep adding them, and then we'll clip them after. so she doesn't look so hairy and funky. And this way, if you have some bands that are like not cooperating with direction, then you can kind of just pull them through the chain to the other side, and maybe it will sit better that way. I don't know. Just play around with it. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate. Okay, so you got this like weird looking thing now. Just go ahead and clip. And then trim. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to do the other one on the other side. Try to make it across in the same area. So I just pulled through 2 bands, and then now I'm going to slip knot them. And then I'll add my little hairs. And just clip. Clip and trim. Oh, I should have told you guys need scissors. Sorry about that. You need scissors. Okay, so there's her little tufts of hair that are coming out from her cheeks. Now she looks like an old man that has like ear hair or something with eyelashes. Okay, so next we are going to add her ears, and then we'll do the hair. Okay, get your ears out that we made earlier, and let's attach the inner ear. So we'll start with one, and you've got your inner ear here and the 2 loops on each side. You're going to place that in the center of the outer ear. You're going to go in through one stitch right next to your tying off band and pull one loop through, and then go and do the same thing on the other side. I'm just gonna pull both of these so that this is a little bit longer. Okay, so I've got my tying off band, and then I've got the loops on each side. So find where you want to place your ears. I'm going to put them right above the eye. So I'm going to be going, let's see, about 2 stitches up from the eye. Or no, 3 stitches up from the eye. So you'll need to bring through each of these loops in the head. You want to go through different holes for each loop. And when you're grabbing these smaller loops, so the first one I'm going to grab is this small one here. And I'm going to keep it on my hook and do the next one, keep that one on my hook, do the next one, and so then I'll have all 3 loops on my hook, because these are so short that if you pull it through and don't keep it on your hook, it's just gonna come right out. So you need to make sure that you keep it on there. So I'm going to go through my first stitch in the head, pull that loop through, and I'm keeping it on my hook. I'm gonna grab my other one. So I'll go through a different hole, grab my middle tying off band, keep that on my hook, and then I will go through another hole and grab my other loop through that. Whoops. I can get it, it's so short. Okay, so my middle loop came off, but that's okay because it's long. So just grab your middle loop and then bring this shorter one through this short one. Just like that. And you can pull on this and then tie these into a knot with your longer band. Which is going to be a little hard with these bands because they're not very stretchy. Which I don't like. Alright. So there's one ear, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So grab your other ear, and we're going to have to do the same thing with our inner ear. Stick it in the center, go through one side next to that tying off band, and then I'll go through the other side, bring my tying off band, my loop through there. Just gonna give it a little tug. If you guys are using regular opaque bands, it should be easier for you. The stretch should be easier. And then I'll place this ear on. So you want to place it in the same area, like in the same row as your other ear, if possible. So again, I'm going to go through one hole, bring down my loop. I'm going to keep it on my hook, go through my next hole, grab my middle tying off band. That one you can just take off your hook once it's pulled through. And then I'll go through my next pull. And bring that through. So I've got the two loops on my hook. I'm going to bring this one through here. I'm going to stretch it and tie a knot with this longer middle. Okay, so I've got my two ears on. This one's a little bit further back. But it's okay. Alright, so I'm going to add some hairs in the middle. So find your magic ring and just go straight up. And I'm going to put it in the same row as I have my ears. And I'm going to just pick a stitch to go through, and just like we did with these little things, we're going to do the same thing. So I'll bring two bands through this stitch here and reclaim the other end onto my hook, and then I'll take another single band, bring it through this, and then tie a slip knot. And then I'm just going to add some more slip knotted bands to this. Do as many as you would like for this. You can make her have a lot of hair, a little bit of hair. It's all up to you. She looks silly right now. Okay, and then once you've got as much hair as you want on there, I'm just going to bring this through here. Then go ahead and give her a little trim. And then let's give her a little bow. So if you have like a monster tail, or if you have your loom handy, go ahead and grab that, because we're just going to be using 2 pegs. Or if you have your cover for your hook or whatever, you can use that. So I'm just going to grab whatever color you want for the bow. I'm going to use this. Actually, I'm going to use the color that I made the nose. Sorry about that. I'm being indecisive here. Okay, so just grab, like, I'm going to do, maybe 5. I'm going to grab 5 bands and then just lay them on my 2 pigs. Just one on top of the other. And then I'll grab another band. I'm going to pull it under these bands here. Put the other end onto my hook and then just tie that into a slip knot. This is my easy peasy lazy bow, is what I call it. I didn't want to make something too big that would like take away from her face, so I figured this would be just fine. And then you can just wrap this band around the center if you want a few times. So just like that. And then we'll just attach it. You can either put a white band through the back of this and pull it through the head and attach it on, or you can just take some of your band that you just wrapped around the center and just wrap it around her hair. I am just going to stick a white band through the back, so I'll go through the center, as many of those I can get through. And then I'll grab a white band, pull it through, so it's like that, and then I'll stick it on the head and pull it through into the face. And then I'll tie these off here. I'm just going to tie them into a knot. If it will go. Yeah. Gotta tie it in a knot. So these bands are so like non-stretchy. If you can't get it into a knot, then just go ahead and put those back onto your hook and then pull one band through this one here, and then you can find a spot in the face. On the inside of the face there's like stitches that are only on the inside, so go through at least 2 of those and then take a white band and pull it through all the loops on your hook, and then tie that into a slip knot. That's, I mean, this, you only need to do it this way if your bands aren't very stretchy. Okay, so there's your little bow. Push her little, oh, one of her eyelashes disappeared. There we go. Oh no, I just messed up her eyelashes. Okay. So let's add some whiskers now. I think I'm just gonna do, I don't know. I just really don't like how these whiskers turn out. She'd almost look better if she didn't have whiskers. But I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to give you that option. So where I'm going to place the whiskers is going to be 2 stitches down from the eye. Actually, no, 1 stitch down from the eye. I'm just going to go through these 2 stitches that are on the outside of the face. Take your band color that you want to make your whiskers, if you're doing whiskers. And then I am going to take my hook and make a slip knot, but I'm going to start from over here. So I'm going to pick this band up first, and then take this band here and slide that underneath. Just so it goes in the right direction. And I'll just cut that. And then I'll do the same thing on this other side. So, I'm trying to find a good spot. So again, find 2 stitches that are on the top only. Grab a band, pull it through. And let's see, pick it up, the band that's furthest to the right, pick that one up and bring this one under it. And then snip it. Snip, snip. And then you can trim those if you want. Okay. So she's got her whiskers, and we can continue with the body. For this part, we are switching to pink, and it's just going to be for row 10 that we're going to be needing our pink, or whatever color you're doing the little collar. And if you put a temporary tying off band, go ahead and take that out. And pick up the last where you left off, and put your stitch marker in. Okay. So we're just doing single crochets all the way around, and we're also going to be needing our arms here, and our arms are going to be going in stitches 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our arms are going to be in stitches 4 and 10. So just follow along with me and I'll show you how to add the arms. So let's start with our pink, and since we're switching colors, we're going to need to do a slip stitch. So you'll take your pink band, bring it through all the loops on your hook, reclaim, and then take this band underneath this one. Let me see, clips in the way. And so you're just doing like a loose slip knot basically. So that was stitch 1. We're just going to continue around with our single crochets. So this is 2, this is 3, okay, and now we're adding our arms here. So take one arm, stick your hook through your 4th stitch, grab one end of your band and bring it through the stitch only, and reclaim onto your hook, and then bring this band through these 2 here. So that's 4. So we're going to do the single crochets again until we get up to number 10. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now go into your 10th stitch, grab your other arm, pull through one end of your leg through the stitch only, reclaim onto your hook, and pull this band through these two. And now you can just continue with your single crochets till you get to your C-clip. Sorry if I'm not talking very much. For some reason my voice is like being weird. I'm not sick, so I don't know what it is. These bands aren't very easy to work with, the limited edition ones. But they're so pretty and they're just sitting there and I don't know what to do with them. Okay, so here's my last stitch here. And that's all we need of the pink. Stick your C-clip up there. Alright, so now what we need to do is we're switching back to white now. So the remainder of this project is going to be in white. And for 5 rows, we're just going to do single crochets around. Actually just do 4 rows because on the 5th row we're going to be adding the legs. So let me do row 11 with you. So when we continue around with our single crochets, since we did our color change, you're going to skip that stitch that's kind of going off like that. That was due to the slip stitch that we did. So if you can see, this stitch is like pointing that way instead of going around. You're just going to skip that altogether and just continue with the stitch right next to that. I just ran out of white. Because if you accidentally crochet into that stitch, you're going to be off. So we do need to do another color change. So grab your white and bring it through all the loops on your hook, and then do your slip stitch, and then just continue all the way around. Sorry, this is kind of slow because they're sticking. Okay, so here's my last stitch here. And then I'll mark this off. So let's do 3 more rows. So I'm going to mark that. And since we did our color change, back to the white, you're going to have your weird stitch there. Skip that. And then just continue all the way around 3 more times and then stop there, because for row 15 we're going to be adding the legs. So just do 3 more rows around and I'll meet you back here when you're finished with that. Alright, so you should have done 3 additional rows, and so this is what it looks like now. Now we're going to do our 15th row, and we are going to add our legs to stitches 2 and 8. So just again, single crochets all the way around. So here's 1. Now I'll stick my hook into stitch 2. Grab one of your legs. Just pull one end through the stitch only. Reclaim the other end onto your hook. And then crochet. And then our next one will go in stitch number 8. So just keep going around till you get to 8. So here's 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'll stick my hook into the 8th stitch. Hold on, let me make sure I counted right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I did not. That one stitch messed me up. So stick your hook through the 8th stitch, grab your leg, your last one, pull one end through your stitch only, reclaim the other end onto your hook, do your crochet, and then just continue with your single crochets to the C-clip. We're almost done. Yay! I'm tired. It's late. Alright, so here's my last stitch here. Put my C-clip back, and now we can start doing decreases. Okay, so for row 16, we're going to be doing a single crochet, and then followed by a decrease. We're going to repeat that all the way around so that we end up with 18 stitches. So I'll start off with my single crochets. So there's 1, go to my next stitch and do my single. There's 2. Now I'm going to do my decrease. So to do that, I'm going to pick up my next stitch over. I'm going to pick up the front loop only, and then I'll go to the stitch right next to that, pick up the front loop only of that. So I have the 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to grab a band. I'm going to be pulling it through these first 2 loops only, and then I'll reclaim the other end onto my hook and then just do my crochet. So that's a decrease. Now I'll go back to my single crochets. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to be doing a decrease. So I'll pick up the front loop only, then go to the next stitch over and pick up the front loop only. Grab a band, bring it through the first 2 loops only, reclaim onto my hook, and do my crochet. Okay, back to singles. So single, single, decrease here. Back to singles again. Single, single, and a decrease. Now again, singles, single, single, decrease, single, single. I'm going to take this out and then decrease. So I ended with a decrease. Okay, so you should have a total of 18 stitches around. Put your C-clip back in there. Now we are on row 17, and we are going to be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease. So we're going to repeat that all the way around so that we end up with 12 stitches. And then once we're done with that row, we're going to start stuffing. So, okay. So we'll start with our single, and we're going to do a decrease. And we're going to do a single crochet, and a decrease. Single crochet, decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease. Oops, got some here and there. Single, and then I will end with a decrease. Okay, slide that loop down onto your hook and grab your stuffing and start stuffing her up. Because if you did her in white, because she is in white, you can add a little bit more stuffing than you normally would, because the stuffing blends in a little bit better with the white, but you still don't want to overstuff. You know, I say the same thing every time, but This is very important. And plus, this might be like a first video for some people, so I do have to repeat myself. So, of course, I always concentrate in putting most of my stuffing in the upper body, in the head, and then I lessen the amount when I come towards the back because of these decreases that we have. They make gaps, so your stuffing will be more noticeable there. A little bit more. Okay. So once you're satisfied with your stuffing, keep running out of white. We're going to do our last row around, which is a decrease. And we are going to basically just decrease all the way around. So we need to do a total of 6 decreases so that we end up with 6 stitches. So no single crochets here, just decrease all the way around. So there's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5, and then 1 more decrease. 6. Okay, so you still have a little hole there. So what you want to do is grab 1 more white band, put it on your hook and bring it through this band that you're still holding on to, and then reclaim and tie a slip knot. Now we're going to use this to sew up this gap. So I will go through each of these 6 stitches in this little tiny hole here, and I'll pick up the top loops only, and I'll bring this tying off band through. So I'm going to go through the top loops only and bring that through. So just continue that around. I can't find 6, 5 will be good too. And then give it a tug. I kind of press the butt down a little bit while I tug on that so it doesn't, you know, pull the bands while I'm tightening it. And then we just want to tie this in a knot just to secure it. So I'll go through any stitch right near it, right near my tying off band. I can find 1. And then I'll bring my tying off band through. And then I'll just tie it. So I'll bring it through this loop here. And again, when I'm tightening this, I'm going to push down on the butt while I pull it because I don't want it to pull the butt. Okay? And then go ahead and tuck this band in. So try to go on top of your polyfill so that you don't pull stuffing out. But it's hard to do, so if you do, just go ahead and fix the stuffing that you pulled out. Okay, so now we just have to give her a little tail and then we'll be finished. Okay, so this is pretty much the same concept as what we did here and here. We're just going to make a little bit longer of a chain. So find the center in her butt area, wherever you want the tail. I'm going to go up here and then pull through 2 bands. Reclaim onto your hook. I'm going to take 2 more bands, pull those through here, reclaim onto my hook, and I'm going to do 1 more. So I've got 2 more bands, I'm bringing those through, reclaiming onto my hook, and then I'm going to take 1 single band, pull it through, and tie a slip knot. Now to this little nub, you want to add hairs. So just add hairs wherever you want. You want to make it like a little floofy tail. And then of course, once you're done adding your bands, then just clip them and trim them. You don't even have to trim them if you don't want to, but I'm going to trim mine just a little bit. So I want it to be a little bit longer. Okay, so there she is, and if you want to add color to her cheeks, which I might do later, I'd add it in this area right under the eyes. And I use usually just like a blush, or if you have chalks, you can do that, and just dab a little bit into the bands, and it will stay there because the bands, you can't clean these bands off if you're using the opaque bands, so it will stay there, and it just adds like a little, you know, well, because I think the Tsum Tsums have, like, some of them have cheeks, and I think this is one of them that does. So if you want to add that, you can. I don't have my stuff right here right now, so I'll do it later. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys had an okay time making her, and I can't wait to see some of your creations that you make. If you want to share them with me on Instagram or Facebook, you can find me on Instagram at christina.davis, but I'll include a link in the description box below, and then my Facebook is Craft Muse. It's kind of a newer page, so just search under Craft Muse and you can find it, but I'll have a link for that too as well. So there's 2 options for sharing your things with me, and I'm seeing so many wonderful things. I love seeing all the Tsum Tsums, and people will like show pictures of all their Tsum Tsums stacking up, so their collection is growing and mine is too. And I love seeing that, and because that's what makes this whole thing worth it. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. So just if you guys like this video, I'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe if you already haven't subscribed. That way you can get notification for when I come out with new videos. And I will have more tutorials for you guys very soon, and I hope you guys have a great night or day or afternoon wherever it is in the world that you are. I'll see you guys later. Bye.